Right now, consumer credit card debt is literally sitting at all-time highs. It's wild, right? Welcome to today's explainer, where we're tackling something that's probably sitting in your pocket or wallet right now. A little piece of plastic that has the power to either absolutely empower your financial life or honestly, completely destroy it. We're talking about credit, and more importantly, those hidden costs and invisible debt traps that just sneak up on you. If you've ever looked at your bank account and thought, where'd my money go? Or if you casually tap a credit card every day without a second thought, this explainer is exactly for you. We're going to break down the exact mechanisms that keep millions of people unknowingly stuck and how you can flip the script to build true wealth and financial independence instead. Let's get into it. I want you to think about this phrase for a second: buying future stress. Because let's be real, millions of us swipe our cards every single day without fully realizing that is exactly what we're doing. In the moment, debt feels completely invisible. You get that quick serotonin hit of buying something shiny and new right now, and you just push the pain of paying for it to later. It's totally seamless. But later always arrives, doesn't it? And for a lot of people, that exact moment, when the statement hits the inbox and the balance is way higher than expected, is when the crushing financial pressure truly begins. You aren't just buying a product, you're literally borrowing against your future peace of mind. Section 1. The Invisible Debt Trap. To figure out how we get stuck in the first place, we've got to establish our baseline and define what we're actually dealing with here. Debt, at its core, simply means borrowing money that you have to pay back later. Simple enough. Now, I want to be super clear. Not all debt is inherently bad. In fact, smart debt can be used strategically to build appreciating assets, like taking on a sensible mortgage to buy a home and build long-term equity. But the real danger, the exact place where this trap snaps shut, is when we start using debt for lifestyle and emotional spending. When you're borrowing money for a fancy dinner out or a spontaneous weekend trip that you'll be paying off for the next 6 months, you've crossed a line. Using borrowed money to fund a lifestyle you can't actually afford with cash is exactly where chronic financial stress takes root.
Section 2. The Psychology of Swiping.
There's this massive psychological disconnect happening in our brains every time we make a purchase, and it fundamentally changes how much we spend. Think about using physical cash. You literally feel the money leaving your hands. You see your wallet getting thinner. There's a tangible psychological friction there, what behavioral economists actually call loss aversion. Handing over cash physically triggers the pain centers in your brain. But with credit cards, or when we just tap our phones for a $6 coffee or a $200 jacket, it feels effortless, completely painless. Credit fundamentally disconnects the physical act of spending from the reality of losing money. And here's the crazy part. Credit card companies know this. Their entire business model is built on removing that friction. It's exactly why studies consistently show we end up spending significantly more money with plastic than we ever would if we had to hand over paper cash.
Section 3. The Minimum Payment Illusion.
As long as I pay the minimum, I'm fine. Have you ever caught yourself saying that? It is a dangerously common internal monologue. And honestly, it's one of the most destructive financial illusions out there. We look at that relatively low minimum payment on our monthly statement, and we genuinely trick ourselves into thinking we're being responsible. It creates this totally false sense of security that everything is perfectly under control. But let me pull back the curtain on the math for a second. Lenders deliberately design those minimum payments to be as low as possible, not to help you get out of debt, but to keep you in debt, paying them interest for as long as legally possible. So while you're diligently making that tiny minimum payment, punishing compound interest is silently multiplying in the background. It's relentless. Slowly but surely, what started as a small, manageable balance morphs into a massive, overwhelming burden. Look at it this way. If you have a $5,000 balance on a typical credit card and you only pay the minimum, it could literally take you over a decade to pay it off. Over a decade. And along the way, you'll end up paying thousands of dollars in pure interest alone. You're basically buying the exact same items 2 or 3 times over. This is the exact mathematical trap that keeps so many hardworking, well-meaning people financially stuck for years, completely unable to break free.
Section 4. Emotional spending under pressure.
So we really have to ask ourselves, why do we swipe so much in the first place? What's driving this? It all comes down to the intense, daily societal pressures all around us. Modern culture is constantly shouting at us to consume. We're bombarded nonstop with images of new phones, luxury lifestyles, designer clothes, and impossibly expensive vacations. And social media just acts as a massive accelerant. We find ourselves constantly comparing our own regular, behind-the-scenes lives to everyone else's heavily edited highlight reels. And let's be real, nobody is posting a screenshot of their massive credit card bill next to their luxury vacation photos on Instagram, right? So what happens? People end up spending money they don't have to buy things they don't need just to look successful. Instead of, doing the quiet, unglamorous, disciplined work of actually becoming financially stable.
Section 5. Building true financial discipline.
All right, it's time to pivot. We know the psychological pitfalls. Now, how do we rewire our behavior? Building real financial independence takes a massive mindset shift regarding how we handle tools like credit. First rule, you have to completely stop treating credit like it's free money or just an extension of your paycheck. It is a loan, nothing more. Rule 2, only spend what you can fully repay at the end of every single month. If you can't pay it off immediately, you simply cannot afford it yet. Sticking to this naturally helps you with Rule 3, which is avoiding emotional or unnecessary debt. And ultimately, you've got to focus on financial discipline first, because the problem is almost never the little plastic card itself. The card is totally neutral. The real issue and your real solution lies entirely in the behavior and discipline of the person holding it.
Here is an undeniable truth that might completely change how you view money. Discipline matters so much more than income. A lot of folks think that just earning a bigger paycheck will magically fix all their debt problems. But there are plenty of people out there making six-figure salaries who are completely, totally broke. True financial freedom is impossible without self-control. It genuinely does not matter how much money you make. If you constantly overspend to soothe your emotions and you routinely use debt to bridge the gap, building real wealth is practically impossible. If you don't keep your habits in check, your spending will always find a way to outpace your income.
At the end of the day, a credit card is just a piece of plastic. It can be an incredibly powerful tool for convenience and building your credit, or it can be a massive life-altering trap. The difference is entirely up to your behavior and your awareness. So the next time you're about to make a purchase, before you tap your phone or swipe that card, just pause. Ask yourself this one simple question. Do I truly need this, or am I just buying it emotionally? Because the smart, disciplined decisions you make today are exactly what will buy your freedom and a significantly better, stress-free financial future tomorrow. Keep building your future one smart step at a time.